Hello everyone, good evening. My name is Ehi Ekhator and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Show. If you don't understand what we use this show for, every Saturday we talk about the situation in Nigeria, we talk about corruption, we talk about politics, we talk about crime and our betterment for Nigeria and the way forward in general. Today, like I said the last time, I said we do have a very important topic to talk today, important topic to discuss today that has to do with corruption around judiciary. Today, because of the kind of how big this corruption is, we want to focus on just one part of the state. We want to focus on Edo State. Today, we are going to try to elaborate this gradually, bring more people in from different states to talk about the way the corruption in judiciary affects the way the country is run. A country without law perish. A country without law is just waiting for anarchy to happen. So, Nigeria needs its law. We have government in the country that doesn't respect the court judgment. We have government in the country that would do anything, trump up charges to take a suspect, innocent suspect, most of the time to court. Then we have other aspect of the judiciary, the judges themselves, who sometimes intentionally just adjourn cases and without any prior notice or specific cogent reasons for this. So we have cases in Nigeria lasting 10 years in court for no reason. Then we have the shortage of manpower. Because, I spoke with one lawyer in Edo State the last time. She told me that the judges are suffering because, the problem in the country is that there is no way a judge can attend to how many cases are assigned to them. It is very difficult to do that. So one judge gets to attend to many people, so it makes it very difficult for them to go through it. On the other hand, we have lawyers, very incompetent, some of them, please, I'm not generalizing, very incompetent lawyers who take their client for granted, who just for the sake of getting their money, show of pay, or what's it called, appearance charges, that is all they want. It's all they want for their pocket. Just they don't really care about their clients. Some of the clients don't know the name of the judges that is handling their cases. Some of the clients don't even know the name of the prosecuting lawyers. The lawyers, their own lawyers, will not disclose this information because they have to safeguard their own sort of finance or their own source of income. In fact, I'm saying this. What I'm saying here is because I know it happened recently. Nigeria legal system is right at the precipice. It is decaying compared to other nations. So it looks like Nigerians tend to then try to take the law into their own hands. Then now you've heard of what they call jungle justice. Nigerians are now taking the law into their own hands. When they catch a criminal, they will set the criminal on fire because they believe the police in the first place will arrest this criminal and set them free for no reasons. They will never be charged to court. And those who give information to the police will be in danger because the police will disclose those who are actually giving the information. And these criminals come back to the street and cause more havoc for the people. So there you have a bigger problem, a country without law, a country of lawlessness, a country where everybody, again, don't let me generalize, majority of the people steal and get away with it. Then that is the system we have in Nigeria. It is very, 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 very sad. It is the reason today we want to bring a very experienced man to discuss this matter with us We have one incorruptible dope person that is joining us for this program to help us throw some lights into this confusion I'm having. The Dr Ishaq Osagie-Eweka is a justice and rights activist from Edo State, so he's going to be joining us today to discuss this matter. Why is on with us? We are going to run through some of the reports by Edo State High Court judges. This is the area I want him to help me clarify, and I'm sure he's with me now on the system, waiting for us to get this all started, because I know he has a lot to share with us today. Hello. Hello. Dr. Ishaq Osagie-Eweka, can you hear me? Hello. Hello. Dr. Osagie-Eweka, can you hear me? Hello, Dr. Osagie-Eweka, can you hear me there? I think he's having his microphone is mute. He's not talking yet, but he's right there on the screen. So we are hoping he will join us again. Probably technical problem. So we are going to run through while we wait for him, we're going to run through some of the things that this honorable justice Sohe Francis Ikmome, Chief Judge in Edo State. This is one of the paper that was submitted some time ago. I thought everything he listed here is still the major problem today in Nigeria judiciary, and let's just say focus again in Edo State. He did generalize it as the key challenges in the public sector, but we are going to try to bring it down as it affects the judiciary. The first one, if you can see on the list, is corruption. Yes, corruption, and that is our problem today. The major problem is corruption, and he also mentioned the poor capacity of majority of civil servants, sometimes to the point of illiteracy, and that is just shameful. But yes, that is just shameful. It's not easy to be able to put that on, because it's not easy to put that on. 3 minutes, we run out of time. Okay. Oh, that's not good. Okay. So that is just shameful. It is not easy to have all this listed for us. Certificate forgery, which is very common in Nigeria, by the way, not just by the judiciary, the lawyers. It is common among Nigerian politicians. And we have age falsification. Again, we are very good in forging documents. Colonial outdated administrative machinery. Again, I don't know how that affects the present day, because we are actually hoping that by now we would have been 2 feet on ground and been able to properly do our own thing. Okay, I think I can hear Dr. Ishaq Osagie-Eweka a few seconds ago. Are you there with us? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me there? Yeah, we do see you have a little technical problem. Not sure why I can't get on. Just trying to get where we are with him. He's online with us, but I cannot hear him. Hello, Dr. Osagie-Eweka, can you hear me? Hello? Alright. Let's see if this is the reason. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that was a mess. Okay, I need to get out of here. Okay. Hello. Okay. Yeah, we are having technical issues. I'm very sorry, everyone. It's supposed to be joining us now, but technical issues. We cannot predict all this problem, but I hope you can join us now. I'm just trying to see. Perhaps it's my system that was creating that problem a few seconds ago. All right. So before he joins us, let's quickly look through this paper again. All right. So policy reversers. Again, I hope that Dr. Osagie-Eweka will be able to throw light on the policy reverser. Primordial considerations like ethnicity at the expense of merit, which again, I don't know, Nigeria, and an average Nigerian is a bigot. Like it or not, but that is the problem. An average Nigerian is a bigot. We want our brother to be there instead of someone that is actually qualified. Now that is a problem. All this listed by this honorable is something that we are actually fighting by Honorable Justice Esohe Francis. It's a High Court judge in Nigeria, in Edo State. It's a failure to keep up with technological advances. Yes, Nigeria, in fact, I don't know how to say that, but we are very bad at it. Lack of transparency. Yes, everything we run in Nigeria, we run it like a Ogboni fraternity. It has to be top secret, like MI6 kind of secrecy. If you are awarding contract, you don't want anyone to know. If you are taking kickbacks, you don't want anyone to know. And then the last one is nepotism, which is breaking us into halves. Nepotism in Nigeria is unbelievable. We just bring our brothers and sisters in. We believe they should be doing the job instead of people who are actually qualified to do it. So, which is a major setback. All right. So today, I was talking about talking in a WhatsApp group the other time. Then we had a man who told me that his brother's case lasted for 10 years. Okay, now I don't get it. Now I don't know what could be the cause of this long delay. That is a decade. I don't know what will cause such a delay, but it is unbelievable that we can be that. Let me refresh this. Just gonna close this one and see if we can bring um, the doctor back on, because he is the one that will help us understand why these things are the way they are today. That's what we are counting on. We are counting on that. It is not easy. It is not easy to be a Nigerian and want something that could benefit everyone. It is not easy at all. So I just hope he comes back in. I'm still waiting for him. He was here. He was really here on time, but technical issues is giving me some problem. So I'm just gonna try. Stay on the phone. I'm just gonna try and call him and see where he is. Okay. Okay, so it is a major issue in Nigeria: corruption, nepotism, and we have a lot of certificate forgery. The legal system is the bane of the country, is the bedrock of Nigeria, but it's so porous, no one take it very seriously. Everybody wants to find a way to boycott it, to outsmart it. It's all boiled down to corruption. And we have a lot of we have one comment on YouTube. It's from Emmanuel Agbogun. It said, I love this topic of discussion. I'm a victim of Trump up charges. Good. So now this is what I'm saying. Every Nigerian, 1 in 10 Nigerians have had experience of Trump up charges. All you need to do is, Abogun, is just drop a little history, a little summary of how these Trump up charges came to be. We hope that the doctor join us soon. Yeah, so we can run these stories by him and see what he says to them. It is in Nigeria, there is no law. Now that is the problem. People need to trust the system in order for them to go through a due process, But a country where there is no law, and the country leaders, they are the one promoting this lawlessness, particularly during the election when they hire thugs to try to upturn the will of the people. So that is lawlessness. No one wants to go through the normal channel to be able to get the winning the right way. If you have a case in court, you have a top dog, a political big wig, they can call the judge and just put some cases, you are thrown out of court. Your matter is done.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Am I audible enough?
Yes, you are audible enough. Can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me there? Hold on. Hello, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great.
Okay. I think it must have been my cable then. If you can hear me, that's very good. Thank you for joining us today. We have Dr. Ishaq Osagie-Eweka online with us today. I'll be patiently waiting for him because we have a lot of things to cover. Nigeria is an interesting country with a lot of things happening. You won't believe it. And for someone that is from Nigeria, when I'm in among foreign friends and they say, "Oh, you are from Nigeria? Oh, that country is full of oil." Of course, I know that. But where is the money? That is the problem. So in a country where there is no law, Where there is no law guiding the citizens, the politicians who are very powerful, they tend to get away with everything, including murder. You understand that? So someone can get killed in that country. Police go on the street, arrest innocent people who have no idea what is happening, and then they just bring them to station. The real criminals are set free. And now I want to understand where the lawyers come into this aspect. I want to understand it. Mr. Doctor, sorry, I'm trying. It's Dr. Ishaq Osagie-Eweka. Again, I want to thank you for joining me today. I know you must be very busy, and your voice to this matter is going to be very important for all of us. I was looking through the notes submitted by one judge, Honorable Justice Sohe Francis Hikmome. He's a High Court judge in Edo State. I was reading through the paper he submitted. He made mention of so many things that is affecting the legal system in Nigeria. The first one was corruption. Let me just ask you, Dr. Osagie-Eweka, let me just ask you this question. What is wrong with the legal system in Nigeria?
Well, good day, viewers. I mean, depends on where you are. Thanks for having me. The question that you put across, what is wrong with the legal system? We have a lot of factors affecting the justice system in Nigeria. And then, when you say what is wrong, we have a couple of factors, like I mentioned earlier. And then you also cited Justice Ikowen's paper, where he reported that issues surrounding the justice system is driven by corruption. And yes, one of the big issues we have affecting the justice system, not the legal system, the justice system, let me correct that, is corruption perception, not corruption per se. Because, when people say the justice system is corrupt, it's not peculiar to the justice system. It is the Nigerian system itself. For a long time, since 1999, we began to embrace the democracy. We have seen tremendous changes in our justice system. Down from Obasanjo's era, and then how the justice system itself has been, clamoring for autonomy, full autonomy, in order for them to operate independently of government actions and interference. And you understand that, yes, many people and many of us, in fact, some of us who are very conversant with what the system looks like, you may say, yes, this is corruption. Yeah, but when you have a system where you have an overbearing influence of the executive arm of government, on the judicial arm of government, you have some of the appointments, especially the office of the Chief Justice of the Federation, coming from the office of the President. And then you should understand that the judicial arm, or the jurisprudence, or when I say the jurisprudence, or the justice system, if I may say, may not be able to operate effectively without interference from who has, in fact, appointed them to that position. Yes, we may say, yes, you go to court, it's an arm of government, but we forget to, put into consideration, or take under consideration, that the judicial system is not the executive. And then we know what the Nigerian political system is. We know how they operate. Although some of these issues of corruption may not be easily substantiated, but we can say we have exceptions. And we can say people have the tendencies to be influenced by these people because the justice system, the judicial system in Nigeria don't run independently. You cannot have a judge in the system running without being appointed by members of the executive, especially the governor or the president of that country. We're looking at the non-effect of the justice. So we can look at it from that angle as we begin.
Thank you. You see, you have a completely different view about the way the corruption is affecting the judiciary in Nigeria. I get it. From my point of view, I think that country currently is crippled. The Honorable Justice Sir Francis Ikpome also made mention of another problem. She listed about 10 problems. The first one was corruption. How would you describe when judges tend to be handed some brown envelope promise for promotion in order to skew judgment? Is that not corruption?
Yes, yes. Literally, and then you could look at it from the angle of the evidence that you can prove, that some of these judges are handed this matter. See, we must be circumspect when we discuss issues concerning the justices and how this judgment and ruling are delivered. Yes, having said that, when Justice Ukpome mentioned the issue of corruption and brown envelope, she directly meant that judges are beginning to be inflamed.
Okay.
If you look at the history of justice system or the practice of law, or jurisprudence, which is the knowledge and and others, and the science of law, will come from memory lane. We realize that the justice system is right, and then with the sword, and of course with a scale, let you know that before a judgment is handed out or a ruling is made, critical factors that surround such rulings, judgments, it means that it must be considered just and fair. That is to say that the justice of jurisprudence, of justice system, must see all the issues before them, taking into consideration the evidence, applicable laws, and then the basis before these judgments are made. I am a firm believer in the justice system in any part of the world. You see, the judges don't just pass a judgment in ruling.
Okay.
We have the first part, the court, then we have the appeal, and we also have the Supreme Court. In my own opinion, one will not just come out and say that these judges are handed brown envelope to give judgments that are unfair in favor of the person who has transacted a request, so to speak. Now that we know these allegations cannot be sustained, let us assume judge is handed the brown envelope at the lower court. Do we agree, if you look at it, that the judges at the appeal court are also handed the envelope? Okay, let us take for instance, but not say that the judges at the appeal court are also handed the brown envelope. Can the judges at the Supreme Court be handed the brown envelope? Well, the point is not about the envelope. The point is about the point of law, the available evidence, and the applicability of the laws for which one is accusing another. One is to accuse, and the other is for the person who is accusing to be able to prove his own case beyond all reasonable doubt, and for the defense counsel to also put his matter in there. It is based on the submissions of the defense and the prosecuting, for instance, and the point of law that judgments are made.
Doctor, let me quickly call in here. I just want to understand, are you disputing the report by the Honorable Justice that there is a deep-rooted corruption in the judiciary? If no, in what way would you agree with her?
Hold on, I would like to make a point here. You see, when people are in the system and they refuse to speak while in the system, let's say, for instance, the Mohammed, who just retired from the Supreme Court, and he made mention something very similar to what we're trying to put before us on the points that Justice Mohammed mentioned. That the issue of appointment of the Chief Justice must be taken away from the President so that it will be seen as fair, that all of the decisions that the Chief Justice of the Federation has taken were not inclusive. These are allegations that have been made when you leave the system. What stops you from speaking while you are in the system?
Yeah.
Yes, and the issue of corruption it's not peculiar to the judiciary. You see, the issues of corruption was deep into the fabrics of the Nigerian society. Now, look at the corruption perception index published by the Transparency International. As we speak, Nigeria ranks 150 of 180 countries on that profile. Several indices were considered, several factors were considered. The way we do things, the way we do our businesses, the way contracts are awarded, political office holders are appointed, the way we run our elections, how we have lost the trust of our people, and how we have lost trust in the leaders, how money have been stolen.
A quick question: How do you think you have lost the trust of the people?
That's the point I'm trying to make. That
how
the issues of corruption is not peculiar to the justice system. Virtually all Nigerians, if you look at them, for you to get it done, you have to give something. It has become a tradition that is gradually eating deep. So when you talk about the judicial system, you look at the judges and we began to look at the arm of government. What is the role of the executive? It's stemming this ugly trend that is coming and eating, that has become a norm in our society. It's nothing about the judges. If I give to you at a checkpoint, for instance, and the police say, "Hey, can I see your document?" I say, "I'm sorry, I don't have the document." And the police say, "Okay, well, we have to take you to the police station. You're prosecuted for violation of a particular law." And then the person who has been accused, or for instance, who has been seen to have broken the law, offended the law, hands over something to the police and the police take. It takes two to tango. So when you say a judge is corrupt, for instance, a judge of the Federal High Court, the High Court is corrupt. If I don't give and I allow the judge to do justice to a case before the judge, or a case that is being adjudicated upon, or a justiciable case, for instance, and you're not ready to invest, so be it. So it takes two to tango. Okay, you see, this judge, for you to be appointed a judge, you must look at certain factors. Your rectitude, probity, courage, and fortitude. And then if we have lost that trust in our justice system, then it's a contributing factor. And that factor, we, human factors, are affected. If you break the law, if you violate the law, you drive without a driver's license, and you are asked to go to jail, or you are prosecuted, and then you are tried, and you are going to jail for 5 years, and then you say, okay, now, since they couldn't bribe the police and they've done all the investigation and submitted before the court, and then you go behind to give the judge something, looking at the legal salaries that they earn, looking at the fact that these people are not autonomous, and that the governor can also call and say, hey, do this. And they, we have seen cases where people handed to PPP advices from Ministry of Justice. Sometimes you look at these things and then you wonder where this is coming. You see the overbearing influence of the executive and the participation of litigants in trying to untie the terms, eye of the justice to see, and if you can hand over this or this, it makes the system unworthy. So it is not about the judges. Lawyers are involved. The judiciary, a system of courts that looks at laws, detect them, and apply them. And then you have more factors coming to play. So we must be circumspect in looking at it. Some of these allegations are unsubstantiated. But we see in the society sometimes the law goes, the judgment goes, and the reverse against this, against the expectations of the people. Well, we have opportunity to go for that. We have the appeal, also have the Supreme Court. After exploring all the steps, and we see that justice is not made, I don't know where we go from here. But what is justice anyway? It depends on how you look at the judgment. If the judgment do not go in your way, or it does not go in the way of the public opinion, it not necessarily mean that that judgment is not just or it's unfair. Yeah. The issues of corruption must be substantiated. I am a litigant. Yes, it's not enough to say judges are corrupt. It is not enough to say judges are taking parameters to handle certain judgment. The onus lies on the person who accuses. And you must be able to prove.
Yeah, I completely understand that, Dr. Osagie-Eweka. I completely understand that. But you know the position we are today, if you ask 99% of the Nigerian people, they don't want to hear any other story, any other explanation, unless you say Nigeria's system is corrupt. And when we say system, it encompasses many aspects of the government, the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. So it covers everybody. So now there is corruption everywhere. In that same paper, Justice mentioned nepotism, mentioned certificate forgery. She mentioned so many things in that paper that she believes is the major problem. And when I read it, I was impressed by the listing of her ability to be able to speak out, because in Nigeria it's very difficult to be able to try to fight the system. This is why I suspect that many of them wait until they are about to retire before they try to speak out, because at that time they have nothing to lose. Having said that, okay, let me ask you just a general question. What is the challenge? What are the challenges that judges and lawyers in Nigeria are facing?
Okay, quickly, let me touch on the issues of the nepotism that you mentioned in that document. You see, I remember very clearly when President Buhari, when he was in office, appointed all the service chiefs, in fact, to certain positions, including ministerial positions, to a particular region. Okay, and then some people also looked at religion. However, that is not to say that I am a religious iconoclast. I am not. But you see, I'm also not religious by God. Elitism has become very, very, will I say, accorded some kind of reverie in our society that we call it nepotism. If judges, if the Chief Justice of the Federation will not look into the President and advise appropriately, or the Minister of Justice look to the eyes of the President and say, look, whatever appointment you have done are lopsided, and then I think it should follow the character. It means that truth in the work of my friend, very good friend, apparently has become transactional in our country. What does that mean? It means that they begin to normalize. All right? Put into normality, for instance, what lies are, and then put into despair, loss of hope, trust in a system, truth. It means that it's beginning to become normal. If the president, as at that time, President Buhari had appointed persons from a particular region and there was no cry of, and the federal character didn't speak. So what is the issues of nepotism? Once it becomes a turn, a region, it tend to swing in that direction. Let us forget that. The Nigerian political system is something I think should be subjected to, with all sense of respect to Nigerians and listeners, should be subjected to, um, well, let's say, intellectual revolutionarism. That's what I think. Not the one that section. You know, like people come out and say they want to from a different country from their own. No, we should sit down and look at how this appointment is done. And then we have freedom to protest. What is for nepotism? If judges are seated and they are not allowed to speak on a system, no one is saying you cannot speak as a judge. Yes, you can carry out your duties. You can also speak in a way by advising the government on the way to go. It appears to me as message after death. You have dispensed justice, you have handed out judgment, you have ruled on matters. Yes, we have very beautiful judges. Asuma is a very beautiful judge. From what I've read about her, from some of the rulings I've heard, very intelligent. Okay, so let us put that aside. Now we go to the challenges some of the lawyers and judges we face in our society.
Yeah.
Well, I mentioned earlier in our opening remark that we must begin to look inwards. Autonomy. We must begin to allow the judiciary to actually look at the laws and then we defend the laws, and then we also have to allow them to apply them without undue interference. How can this be done? It can only be done by handing out autonomy to the judiciary. Allow them discuss who becomes the head of the judiciary. Allow them discuss who becomes the name. Let it be a non-business. Allow them run their companies. And all the finances they require to be appropriated. It is not enough to say the judges will give them this, to give them, and the application are far-reached. Beyond insight.
Yeah, but we have associations of judges. We have association of judges. We have association of lawyers in the country. Have these people come together to say, "Hey, government, because when we have the coordination of these legal minds coming together to say the government needs to hand over the autonomy of the legal system to those who are actually practicing it without political interference." Don't you think this will work? Because in an advanced country, when things need to change, there will be somebody raising the motion, people trying to pass a bill to make that changes. What is the legal system, the mind, the justices, what are they doing about it to wrestle this power from the government?
Okay, you see, like we've mentioned that it doesn't go down well with Nigerians where judges are retiring and they speak up. Okay, if judges cannot speak up because they've been constrained by virtue of the control of their system, and then we expect that judges will not speak. They are presumed blind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the rulings and judgments that are made by them are based on facts, evidence, application, and the witness, for instance, before the judge. That's what it should be. The judge is not expected to preempt the judgment of a ruling. Now, the point is, when members of the civil society, members of the public, just like this advocacy program that we are on now, this talk program we're on, are part of it is to bring the government to notice that the judicial arm of this government will be allowed to do their thing. And then we also look at the poorly situated judges. It's one of the factors that still sometimes perceived miscarriages of justice. You can have a judge that is legally remunerated, without beautiful cars, good security, health, welfare, and then you see the governors changing cars, buying the best of cars with a lot of security, and then the judges are poorly remunerated without. and you expect the judges to turn a blind eye to huge bribes, which of course is perceived as corruption. For me, the judges are human, and they live in a society where morals are declining daily, where security situations are getting worse every day, where the value of the naira for which they're paid with is going down every day. And then you expect a justice or an officer of the law, like you said in the case of a lawyer, in the challenge, to be able to effectively deal with the issues, surrounding adjudication.
Yeah, doctor, let me call in here, doctor. Let me call in here. I completely understand that. I see that from where you're coming from. I see that some of the legal minds are kind of helpless, hoping that miracle is going to actually take place, or one day the government officials will just wake up and say, hey, listen, we've been doing these people wrong, we need to hand over their power back to them. I think this is what I'm hearing, because I believe that in the same country, when things are not changing, I see parents in this country I am raising a motion, promoting a bill to change something that is bad in the system. I've seen that. I've seen lawyers challenging government, dragging them to court on things that they need to do. Everyone has that power to make that change. But if all the lawyers come in associations, go on strike and say this is what we need from the government, it's been going on for too long, we need this to change, and the government, because it is all about pressure. The government don't respond to anything. They don't respond to you and I talking. They don't respond to anything because there is no pressure on them. When they have pressure, the legal system is shutting down. The government will quickly come together and find a way to try to bring this back to status quo. But the moment we are all looking the other way, hoping things changes, it's not going to change. Would you agree with me that the legal system, the judges and the lawyers, they've not done enough to have their own autonomy?
Well, you see, like I mentioned, there is a limit to the participation of a judge or a justice in issues concerning their welfare. You see, like you mentioned, that it is the duty of the society, justice and right activists like you and I, to create awareness on the autonomy, right?
Yeah.
And then proper remuneration of justice. And this sensitization program must be taken across, going from the executive to the legislature. I think some of the training that the legislators undergo when they are in a new session should include how they can pass bills in favor of the autonomy of the judicial system. Judiciary, I beg your pardon. That will help us a lot, in improving some of the perceived distrust that the public litigants now have on Nigerian justice system. So let me bring again to your notice. Reason why that perception is very high. A number of indices are considered. If a country who's ranked 150 from 180 countries for that particular corruption perception index system, it's ranked as this with 24 points. You don't look it from 0 on a scale of 0 to 100. What does that tell you? It tells you by percentage, or we look at over 220 million Nigerians. That is to say that about 84, so to speak, of 220 are corrupt. And don't forget, some of those who are perceived as not corrupt are the poorest of Nigeria. They don't have access to huge funds. They don't have access to funds that they can launder away from Nigeria. They don't have access to public funds. So the few ones who have access to public funds that have been kept, they use such funds to influence judgment. That is the perception. And don't forget, some of these persons belong to the category of the bourgeois, elites, and the politicians who run for this office, which in turn begin to appoint different positions and ensure that the money comes from the office to them. But where's the law? This is the budget from the judiciary. Not contested, it's not the business of the legislature, it's not the business of the executive to begin to make budget for them based on what is coming to them. It becomes clear that justice may not be perceived as being transactional anymore, in the sense that they run their city. So the perception is not to say that this is what it is. No, it is more like a ripple effect from the perception of corruption in the society. I hope that is clear enough.
Yes, I get it. I understand where your views are coming from, your opinion, your angle. You are trying to.
Yes, so it is the responsibility of the civil society to speak for the judges, because they assume not to be able to speak for themselves. It is our responsibility to speak up and create awareness and ensure we prevail on government.
Have you tried on going on strike and bending the government? Have you tried on going on strike, say, or threatening to go on strike and bending the government to their will nail to say we need this now because it's affecting the system? Now we have cases staying 10 years with no judgment. We have cases that the judges don't even come to court because it is postponed or adjourned. There is no specific reasons for them. Then I understand that I spoke to a lawyer who said that, can you imagine some judges having 200 cases to handle? Then how can one judge handle all these cases? And that was her argument. But the point is, if the judge or the legal system are handling their own cases, at least they need to give reports to the government how well they are doing. But if they are doing this, things might run better. Government or judges might be able to make proper decisions without fear for their own life or fear for their own retirements. So they know they are no longer in the hands of government. They can do the right thing. So, but if we just look the other way, that's because I believe that these judges, they wait until the day of their retirement to say what they've been thinking for how many years they've not been able to say because of fear of targeting. So why won't I do hope that after this program today, all associations that is backing the legal system, all civil societies, the judges all come together to say something needs to change because it's becoming a joke. So now let me quickly ask this question. I want to direct it to Licho. What is holding cases in Nigerian court?
Well, a number of factors are responsible for delayed judgment. Well, we'll say, people will say justice delayed, denied. I mean, it's a popular thing. Sometimes they say justice in limbo. But you see, a lot of factors are involved. Non-appearances of witnesses, case. Sometimes maybe just having too many handles. And then sometimes the lawyers are not doing their own part too. To bring to the notice of the judges on some of these cases that have been lingering in court. You have a lot of factors. If a judge is overburdened, if she takes the number of cases she can take on that day, she puts the other one to the other month, like that. The judge cannot handle all the cases at the same. Sometimes, it takes 3 parts for a case to be adjudicated upon. Like I said, you have the application of the law, you have the witness to be able to say this is how it has gone, and there's the issues I know that is more offensive. Let me digress a little bit. Some of the inmates that you go around, if you look at the prison, some of them are awaiting trial for a long time. But you see, they also have that part in the justice system where the judges will also go there and ask, what is this, what is it? And then if the cases are not cases that have been substantiated with facts over an accusation or an allegation or whatever it is, the judges will also ask them, oh, they can go. So the delayed justice system, sometimes it depends on the kind of case. Sometimes we also have external influences that sometimes we cannot just mention for reasons that some of them cannot be readily substantiated. But you see, like I said, when we talk about the justice system in Nigeria, it's not only about the judges, and then we be circumspect because at this level, when we talk about corruption and judges are corrupt, yes, you have a right to freedom of expression. But sometimes, not all the time you make a speech because it's free to make, and then sometimes you be held accountable to account for some of to prove your case. Our allegations against these judges.
Yeah, but Dr. Osagie-Eweka, not 10 years.
Let me quickly make this point. In order for us to be able to let the justice system run without interference, we can hold the judges accountable for some of these military cases. First, we must move that these judges be allowed to run their system at the moment, and then they must be properly remunerated. Once we get that first done at the level of the National Assembly, and then implementation is allowed to go, I think President Buhari attempted to do something like that. Along the way, we're waiting for implementation, and then the bill to be signed. Somehow, we didn't hear about that anymore. So it's also one of the games by the politician. Whether you like it or not, a government like the country is run by politicians. More politicians become governors, they become government men, and these are politicians. It depends on the interest. Sometimes once they become interested, they think that sometimes justice may not be done in their favor when they allow these people to run the system as a government. So those are one of the things we talk. And we're talking about immigration. In Nigeria, the labor congresses and the labor unions are fighting for the government to increase the wages from what it is now, looking at considering the devaluation of Naira to a better pay. Such agitation of what they listen to by
government. How much is a standard judge earning now in Nigeria?
Well, I can't say I'm not a lawyer, not a judge, but I know for sure with the way the civil system, Nigerian civil service system, because by extension I'm in the public service too. So I know that I am poorly remunerated, and I know these judges are poorly remunerated. You cannot tell me that a judge enjoys the privileges like a governor of the state. If a judge enjoys such privilege, there won't be this perception, there won't be this suspicion that justice, maybe there's miscarriage of justice, or judge and ruling are not truly just. It is the duty of a judge. That's why the judge is blind to look at cases on the merits, look at it and dispense that justice in fairness as it is. But now, we looking at our corruption perception, we have lost confidence in ourselves. Nothing runs in Nigeria without you giving. And if you refuse to give, you are forced to do it. So it's the same, that feeling and that perception is what Nigerians and others look at, and they say, oh, the judicial system. Don't you think for me to get justice, you must do this, you must do that? Like I said, I'm a firm believer of justice anywhere in the world, including Nigeria. I can never be discouraged because I've gotten fair judgment. I've had, opportunities to bring, matters that are justice, and then some matters were adjudicated upon, and I got fair judgment. Sometimes against states. I've done it. So will you say if a judge, for instance, grants bail to somebody who was accused by the police for being an armed robber, all right? Or in some cases, when you bring an armed robber, alleged armed robber before the judge. Are you listening?
Yes.
And then, before the investigation or sometimes after the investigation, and then the judge finds out that there are no evidence to prove that that person is an armed robber, and then it discharges or acquits and discharges such an armed robber.
Yeah, well, when they discharge this case, are the police penalized for wasting the court time, for wasting everyone's time for trump up charges? Are they penalized for such a situation?
You see, the justice system is blind. That's what I'm trying to let you know. If for instance, you perceive that somebody is an armed robber and the person is not, based on information, it is duty of the court. It's not a waste of time to see actually if he's an armed robber or not. And it's an allegation. You are there to prove your case, and if you are not, then you are distracted. It is the perception of the police. It is the law. Police. One of the duties of the police is, one, to ensure that offenders of laws are arrested, to ensure that in the process of discharging human rights, fundamental human rights are not violated, to enforce and to ensure that law and order is maintained. So if the police, in doing his job, carrying out his duty in line with the act that establishes the police, and not suspect that you are an armed robber, you cannot. It's an allegation. Let the court make it. And if you are discharged, you are discharged. For instance, but in the process of doing that job, there's a violation. Then you can file a suit against the police because there was a violation, but you cannot file a suit against the police that the police suspected that you are an armed robber. No, it is the duty of the court to say no. Tell the police this is not an armed robber, and the police accept your judgment. But if the police feels otherwise, and then you have the appeal and the supreme. So it's a matter of the police doing their job, bringing the issue before the judge, and then they look at it. It is the justice system is made up of the lawyer, yourself, and the judge, and it's the court that decides. It's not a judge. It's based on the evidence, application of the law, and the witnesses, and then the persons who have accused you of being an robber to prove their case. That's what it is.
A quick one here.
For me,
sorry. Yeah, thank you.
It is difficult for me as all right, for somebody who has benefited from Nigerian justice system. Even when people say yes, well, there's no justice in Nigerian justice system, I've benefited. So it's difficult for me a little bit because I've gone to court against the police at some time. I've gone to court against government at some time, and I got justice. So will I not say the government is big enough with all the resources and the instrumentality and all the apparatus of the state to influence your judgment?
Yeah, but there are many cases where the judge made a judgment against the police, and they look at the person that the judgment is in favor of. They know this person doesn't have a backbone, doesn't have an influential politician or somebody that can defend them. Those judges or judgment are put aside, is never respected. Nothing happens to the police for whatever disrespect they've done against the law. So this thing becomes, again, like you were mentioning, becomes a norm because there are so many judgments. I was speaking with the deputy director of SERAP. I'm sure you've heard of that group, SERAP, anti-corruption group in Nigeria.
Yes,
I was speaking with him because he was on this show. He told me that they've won so many cases against the government, but the government, they don't respect the law. So now the question, how is that even possible where we have the legal system? This is one of the reasons that the Nigerian people don't want to go through the legal system. If you owe me money, I will beat you, because there's no way to, it's not even necessary to take it through the legal system, pay the lawyer who sometimes, most of the time, don't even practice or learn more about the case before they go to court. So there's always lose for the Nigerian people when they want to go through the legal system. What word or advice would you have for these people? Because you said you've gained the system. What word do you have for them? How do you think they can navigate these things in the right way?
Yes, okay. Let me quickly just, as a way of enlightenment, let me quickly say this, that some of those cases that have been won against government and then because those judgments are not obeyed by some of the government officials does not make some judgment inactive. You see, the issue of immunity for governor persons is quite a bit of a setback for some of the let me speak implementation of some judgment. However, without it was too much on this issue on implementation and all those cases and gotten against government. My advice is you have a good lawyer. You can enforce ruling of the court. There are ways to enforce ruling of the court, especially the ones that have to do with human rights violations. Nigeria is a signatory to several, including the one in Kampala, that the dignity of a human person must be held. And the police was given such mandate in the Police Act that is not allowed in the course of discharging your duty to violate the fundamental right of any human person. They are impossible in court. I've had many cases. If you look at the law report, you will see many cases where some of these violations have been enforced in court and people have gotten judgment against people, the violators. So it's a difficult system. We must begin to advocate and create awareness for improvement. That's the job of the members of the civil society. I'm a member of Amnesty International. Our job to speak constantly. It is our job to create this awareness. It is our job to speak for the voiceless and ensure that governments themselves respect the laws of our land. It is okay to violate provisions, but it is the duty of some of us to ensure that such violations are taken before the court and justiciable. Judgments can be gotten.
Well,
If you think that judgments cannot be enforced, the international community, hold on, don't play with violations of human rights. By the time some of these officials are banned from having some of the privileges in the future, they will not realize as we move on that if we cannot enforce such judgment on them while they are in power, it can be enforced when they get out of power. So it is our belief that as we move on, we may not be there anymore, we may have passed it, but the justice system in Nigeria will improve. And the corruption perception by Nigerians will be eroded with time.
all right.
Like we would say, a Rome.
Well, I will disagree with that part of Rome is not built in one day. I'm no longer I'm not a child. I have been in this life for too long. I'll be hoping. I remember when this song came out, Nigeria go survive, Africa go survive. I'll be hearing these things. So for so many years, hoping that Nigeria will get better. Today we are talking about £1 to 1,300 and something naira. It's not better at all. Anyway, you just stay in there, don't go anywhere. This is a very big topic. We're probably not going to finish it today. I'm going to get you more. We are going to bring more people in next time, so we'll have opposite views to be able to have an elaborate discussion. So I have one very important question for you when I return. But if you're just watching, stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Ehi Ekhator and this is Let's Talk Show. If you are just joining us, we use this show to talk about things in Nigeria, corruption, politics, crime, and probably the best way to kind of improve Nigerian system. We hope that through this conversation we are having with Nigerians, then discussion can be had. People can come to the table and start addressing the issues that Nigerians are actually frowning at. I don't have a hope of that, but I'm a dreamer. I believe this will happen, as Dr Ishaq Osagie-Eweka just said a few minutes ago. It might happen. Yeah, I'm not going to dispute that dream, but I'm very worried. that where we are now is becoming clearer and clearer. Even the blind can see now that Nigeria tend not to be able to take the step back in order to rearrange things that have been destroyed over the years. Instead, we are trying to kind of window dress it, make it look very beautiful, so that we don't think there is a crack in it. And every time the bridge collapses and people get injured, people get angry, things happen. So now that's where we are in Nigeria. Now I have a question for our honorable doctor, who will be very, very, very great in discussing sharing his opinion about the legal corruption. He should remember he's disagreed with Justice Osagie here on the aspect of the corruption. He talked about the corruption perception, which I believe is an angle we can actually all sit down and talk about. I have a question. A few weeks ago, one lawyer in Edo State, Barrister Douglas Obankwa, took one of his clients to police station, SSS headquarters in Edo State. He got assaulted by one of the SSS agents, and this issue went on the social media. And I read the statement from the Lawyer Association, Lions Club, or something like that, getting upset, so condemning the act, the violence, the attack on a member of one of their members. But I didn't see what happened after that. This man was assaulted trying to do his civil duty. He was there to represent a client. He was assaulted, but nobody in the legal system got upset, sued the SSS, and asked them to pay for damages for what they've done. Because this is what will happen here. If you ask me, if you assault anybody doing their job, you go to court, you will pay, police pay every second here, money, thousands of money for making the wrong decision in the glimpse of a second. So now, I want to ask you, a situation like that where even lawyers are not safe in doing their job, what is the way forward? What do the lawyers associates, civil societies are planning on doing to protect their own colleagues? Then after this, we are coming back to forgeries and all. Just one more question before we go, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want me to respond to this?
Yes, please.
Okay. You see, the police system in Nigeria has been riddled with abuse. You know the show of force. See, the Nigerian police force is not an organization that was created to discharge their duty with force. The SSS, the military, and others, whatever the Nigerian Armed Forces, whatever. But it appears that they think that the use of force, you make them appear as doing their job. And it is the same act under which they were established that states in the relevant sections in mention now that in discharge of your duty, you must ensure that the rights or fundamental rights are protected. And then you are now found your job is to enforce its case. Your job is to ensure that you maintain law and order, and in the process of discharging the duties for which you were created to do, you violate the law. They do this a lot because they feel that nobody can arrest them because they are the police that arrest them. So the issues of impunity begin to grow. Despotism, the use of force, because you are an instrument of the state. You think you can brutalize people? And I tell you, I mentioned it, in the beginning of our conversation and discussion, that the corruption perception index in Nigeria that you see as clearly interpreted and presented clearly on the website of the Transparency International, look at it. The policing system in Nigeria has contributed greatly to the corruption perception index
Agree.
in this country.
Agree. But and my question is, my question is, when Barrister Douglas Obankwa was abused.
Just let me give you this point.
Okay.
It has got nothing to do with how much they collect. It has got nothing to do with how much they take for bail or whatever. That's not the issue. You see, the international community considers very seriously the issues of human rights violation. Because it is the human themselves that make the law. Now look at the justice system. No law that exists on earth created by a ghost. All laws are a product of the human thinking. And they place very high premium, very, very high premium on the fundamental rights of a human being. And then people who make laws, and then you try to dehumanize them, use of force, brutalization.
The question is, what is the repercussion? Barrister Douglas was attacked. What did the lawyers, what did the judges, what did the legal system do about it to protect him, or protect from, deterrent it from happening again, try to discourage it from happening again?
As a lawyer, he knows what to do, and I'm sure he has long done that. He knows how to go about it. There was an assault, and if properly proven, it's a crime, and then there are consequences for violation.
But I didn't hear any consequences.
Oh well, part of the consequences of of attacking any person, whether a lawyer or a civil person, is that if no consequences have been meted out, we made him popular. We have made him popular. Everybody now knows that particular man or that particular DSS officer is a human right now. In fact, he's an abuser. He's using the office, the instrumentality of his office to oppress people. See, let me tell you.
But he is still in power, isn't he?
Yes. You see, the point is, in fighting for freedom from an already bad system, the freedom is not easily handed over to you, but it must be demanded. And this is part of the process. Online conversation is part of the process of demanding freedom from the dirty society and then dirty policing system. Making him popular is part of demanding freedom. And then also pushing to ensure that he's tried for the attack on Douglas and Obankwa.
Yes.
It's also part of demanding freedom from the already bad system. Like I said, we are a part of the system. You cannot take myself or yourself away from this system. You see, we must continue to speak and advocate and ensure that we move to the national
Dr. Osagie-Eweka, I really want to agree with you in this aspect. I really want to agree with you here, but I have my belief that the talking is not working. There needs to be a certain a talking back up with action. If this man that we made popular, as you put it now, is still in his same position, he is still exerting the same authority, he's going to abuse another person tomorrow, and then be making him popular is not enough. I believe that man, when he assaulted that lawyer for doing his job the last time, slapped him publicly, disgracing him publicly because he was trying to assert authority. I think that the legal system, the civil society were supposed to come out in force and make sure that man never returned to his office. But this man is still in the office, and I'm sure that Barrister Obankwa is not his first victim.
Okay, let me quickly mention, you see, the justice system, or adjudicating a matter is a process. The civil society coming out and we're going on protest, and then the lawyer filing a case of assault in court, and then taking him to court, and it's not something that we can do in one day, and that cannot get him out of the charge. It is only the court that will look at the issues, and then he will be tried, prosecuted, and then charged. After being charged, and then it's found that the offense he has committed, carry certain sentence and all that. It's a process. That's going by way of protest, and then the Nigerian Bar Association speaking on it, yes, which I know they did, and we, the civil society, advocating justice and human rights activists speaking on this matter, cannot get him out of his job. Only going through the justice system, because we haven't seen that he has taken laws into account. Not take laws into our hands. We can only speak against this and continue to speak against it. That's what it is. When you live in a society where the law the laws are selectively applied, this is what we get from the system. If it was a poor person who had done it, you'll be. But you see, selective system of application of law in a country like this, we must continue to speak against it. We cannot use the force. We cannot use force like the police because they have good guns. The DSS in his own side, you can expect someone like to be fighting him. We will only shoot him and claim that he was going to take his gun, and then that would be it.
Now, you see how you understand that process, how they can get away with it, and that is what is so scary for me. That's what is so scary for so many Nigerians. When we have like minds like yours, we have people that can fight for it. How is this not changing?
Well, like I said, it is a known fact that the way the Nigerian policy system is carried out, it's a known fact. Like I mentioned to you that the corruption perception in Nigeria, the policy system has contributed a great deal. It's known. The human rights violation is known. So yes, they may be respected in their offices as commissioner of police and inspector general, IG, and whatever the position, DSS, yes. But you see, when they get out of this local system, and they get out of this local system to an international system, they already know their rating. They know where they belong. Yes, we know. We continue to speak against it. The world now know that man is a serial abuser. He has done this to Bankwa. Possibly he has done it before, and then he's going to do it again.
Yes.
And then we'll make him popular. And then everybody knows. And it's one thing to, explore the justice system. It's another thing for activists and members of the civil society to speak against injustice. We will continue to do that. In a society like this, we look forward to improvement in our justice system and how the police and the DSS relate to people, civilians, and then how they respect human rights. We look forward to improvement of this. And then you're looking at the political will, it's not that these laws are properly applied across the board. Something we also look forward to in the future.
Well, I want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to explain this. I have one last question before we go. I've kept you so long today. And remember, this topic is so massive. Yeah, this topic is so massive. I don't think we can exhaust it today. And I can also inform you that I have not agreed to everything you said today. There are some parts that I do agree with your. Yeah, there are some parts I agree with your perspective, which I believe is very reasonable. But there are some parts I will keep digging into because I really don't understand it. Trust me, I've been to Nigeria once in 14 years. And the last time I was there, I was so scared because, in fact, it was a complete. It's not the way I left it. When I left it, I thought it was bad. When I got there, it was really bad, so I'm scared for that. Now, let me just forget about that because we are going to do this next time. I'm going to bring more people in so we can discuss this thing exhaustively. I want to hear more opinions. I would like to bring the government or some government officials in so we can discuss this exhaustively to see what, for example, the state government is doing about situation like this to make some changes, like you mentioned, autonomy. All right. So, but my last question is, again, I'm referring to the Honorable Justice paper. She mentioned forgeries of qualifications of certificates. And that means she was saying that some people are practicing law but they don't have the qualifications to do so. So my question is, what is the associations doing about to fish out the bad eggs among the good ones? What are they doing that? Because the victims of all these bad fake lawyers are the people which I believe you are protecting. What are the organizations, civil societies and the law organizations, or what they call associations, doing about trying to kind of fine-tune their own list to know who are the actual lawyers who you can contact, the real, because there should be a form of a database. I want to know, what are they doing about this to secure, to protect the people?
Okay, let me quickly say this, that Nigeria may not be a perfect system. I want to encourage you to become home so that collectively we can make Nigeria a better place. It may not be a perfect system, but it's not as bad as what we think. There are still opportunities for us to, put our little inputs before we get out of here, because we're not going to live forever. So having said that, the issues of certificate forgery is not a peculiar issue to the judiciary, whether being a lawyer, being a judge, whoever. It's also a matter to look out for in other sectors, in the production, manufacturing, education, university system. And there are cases of certificate forgery. Now, God bless Nigeria as much as God blesses America. That's what we usually will say, God bless America. Now, God bless Nigeria, because it's only Nigeria I have a place to call my home.
Yeah.
I'm always a visitor and a foreigner to all the countries all over the world, the United States, the United Kingdom, Europe, yes, but whether you like it or not, I love my country. I'm a very patriotic Nigerian. I said it before from the beginning, and you said you have disagreed with it. I am a firm believer of justice in Nigeria. I believe strongly that looking at the applicable law, I'm digressing a little bit, that justice can be fair and just. That's by the wayside. You mentioned the database. I have advocated for this at some point, that the university system that awards this degree should create a database where certificate can be easily verified. Like, you can get your NYC teacher certificate and look at the document and put it on the NYC website. It tells you if that thing is fake or real. You see, it is very easy. It is nothing from the university or from bodies that are responsible for verification of results to do this kind of thing. It's very easy. Where you can go and easily check. But again, it is another act of the corruption. Some of the political wigs and elites that think they hold the power made such beautiful system impossible, because a number of their supporters, colleagues, people who help them to do things, sometimes unthinkable things, may be in that category. They don't want it to be easily checked. And then looking forward to a system in Nigeria when you see something, say something, it will help the security improve. It will help the security agencies improve on starting their duties. And then, if you see something, you say, how many can you actually see? You have a system that is running where a person who is applying for a job in the judiciary or anything, and you are part of the people who say this is fake, let us invest. You shouldn't get to a place where you are not of certificate forgery. We should have a system in Nigeria, especially a university system, where somebody gives a certificate, immediately you go on that place, but the university can verify. And the beauty of because the document is the public document anyway. By the time you apply for a job, and then that job requires that you meet certain, requirements, so to speak, and then you give your certificate out for that job, it becomes a document for that particular, establishment or wherever you are applying to use. It becomes a document of that establishment.
Well, I can assure you, no university will want to put their details of their students online. What I would suggest, if I were to suggest a situation like that,
hold on. You don't have to put the details. It's a system where you can look at the number and you put it on the system. You say verified, real or fake, verified. It can be. You don't have to put everything. You know what I mean? So it's a part of checking the issues surrounding the debate project. It's more like a solution or a suggestion to solutions that are made for this program, because that's what the program is all about. We look at the issues and we provide solutions.
Well, thank you very much. I want to thank you today for all the time you spent talking to us. I'm sure you can get to the comment section on YouTube. You see a lot of people commenting on the people welcome you to the program. Some commenting that they still believe corruption is it's a big problem in Nigeria. They believe that's correct. Like I said before, it's the mindset of Nigerians. That is what they believe because it affected all of them. And so next time I will hope that you come back next time, because we need to talk about how to tackle excessiveness of the Nigerian police. I hope I can bring a PRO or anyone that will be speaking for the police here. We are still going to touch base with this because this is just the introductory part of this judiciary corruption. We are going to discuss more. I want to exhaust this particular topic because people tend to shy away from it for fear of not saying the wrong thing or not being targeted. I want us to discuss it exhaustively and see where things can change. It will help Nigerian people. So I want to say thank you for coming to the program, and we are going to draw the curtain here today, and we hope to have you next time on the program.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My pleasure.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. Today has been a massive discussion, insightful information from Dr. Ishaq Osagie-Eweka. He has a vast knowledge about the system. He's a civil society rights activist. He's been doing this work. I'm sure he's helped a lot of Nigerians, a lot of Edo people in the process of his work. He's been giving us an insightful information from his perspective. Some of them, I believe, I agree with him. Some of them I did distantly disagree with, because I believe there are a lot to do, and I believe that because most Nigerians expect prayer to solve every problems, expect that one day when they wake up, Jesus Christ is just going to put money under their pillow. So this is the same system. I believe most people hope that Nigeria will wake up and become better one day, because for you to raise a child, it takes a community, and Nigeria as a country is a child and need a community involvement to make it better. And while everyone is shying away, Nigeria is going to the dogs. The people who have something to say are not there to represent the people. Those who are in the arms of affair at the moment are those who are there for their personal interest. Now, coming down to the legal system, like I said before, is the bane of the country. It is the bedrock of a nation. And when the legal system is going to the dogs, and then the normal person, the average person in the country, will start losing hope in the justice system, and there will become shortcuts, there will become more corruptions, and there will be jungle justice. And that is what we have in Nigeria now, jungle justice. A lot of people are upset. They don't want to go to the police, they don't want to go to a lawyer. I have a brother who is currently dealing with a case in Nigeria. I don't want to be precise. The lawyer didn't even tell him the name of his prosecuting lawyer or the name of the judge. I think that is not okay. If you are representing the person, you give all the necessary information. This is the name of the lawyer as the prosecution lawyer. This is the name of the judge that is representing your case. You need to have all this information. But the lawyer is not doing that, I'm not sure why he's keeping those information to his chest, but I understand it probably Malay about money, securing a little source of income so he wouldn't go somewhere else, or there are some information he wouldn't want leaked out. Again, this is my speculation. I don't know. I'm just saying that the system needs to change. The people need to do better. I'm saying that the Nigerian government, like our guest said today, the Nigerian government needs to hands off from the legal system so they can be what's it called? They can be plaintiff in the system, because with the power they have, it looks like Obasanjo going to his own university. I don't know who is going to fail him. So now this is the legal system. It's the legal system in Nigeria. When you have a fight against the government and you know that the system is not autonomous, your government is controlling you, I doubt how the case is going to be just. So now that is the problem we have in Nigeria. So you don't expect me to be fighting my boss and win. I'm losing my job. So the Nigerian government needs to hands up the legal system so that they themselves can become not included in the process, but they can always make sure that the system is running smoothly. Because where I'm here at the moment is all about performance report. We need to know what is going on so we can fix it. This is what we do here. I can give you a lot of performance report I'm evolving so that things can get better. But in Nigeria, it's so different that it looks like there is no documentation properly, there is no history, there is no fight for change. It's just, this is the system. That's what I was told when I was in Nigeria. This is Nigeria. Welcome to Nigeria. When you have people accepting that defeat, it looks like we all are looking for a way to survive. There is a fire in the forest. The lion and the rat, they are all hiding in the same place. No one is afraid. Everybody wants to survive just because the fire can kill anyone. That is what is happening in Nigeria. The people who are the one that is the one with the force, the power to actually make changes have been silenced through intimidations, through a porous system of the government, through the porous legal system. They don't have trust in it. So everyone do whatever they want. They act the same way they want. They don't really care anymore. People say jackpot. Yes, that is what they believe is going to solve the problem. If you put freezer free for Nigeria overnight, you wake up the country, that country is going to be empty. There'll be nobody there because nobody wants to stay. Well, I left for it was job that took me away in the first place, not because I wanted to jackpot, as people say. But Nigeria legal system is going to the dogs, and we need to fix it. It is the right time to start talking about it now. He stayed for too long, and we don't need this to happen again. I want to thank everyone who have been listening to us today. Again, this is just an introductory part, and Dr. Ishaq Osagie-Eweka has done a wonderful work trying to explain his own perspective of this system to us. And we hope to bring him back next time, and I hope you keep time with us next time. Next Saturday, we will be on to discuss something else, and this will be shared again. Don't forget to subscribe on the YouTube channel there, because that's where we are going to be discussing everything. You can also follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and LinkedIn. We are everywhere. You can watch this video in any of this channel you are. Thank you very much for keeping time with us today, and I want to say have a wonderful evening and God bless you, everyone.